Movies can emotionally affect the viewers. Well-written stories can leave the spectators full of joy, smiles, or even tears. Such was the case with Marvel's latest addition to the MCU, Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever. Even though many fans were left with teary eyes after watching the film, Kevin Smith had to defend his tearful reaction to the blockbuster. Stay tuned as we discuss what happened. First up, Smith defends his tears. Smith is a well-known independent filmmaker, but he is also known for his love of comic books. He has his comic book store, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, and has directed episodes of The Flash and Supergirl, both in the comic book genre. Smith is also known for his reactions to new movies and TV shows on social media.
It's great.
I think we're more impressed with beating Jim, to be honest, than Jim's beating us.
Kevin Smith recently talked about the backlash to his teary Black Panther Wakanda Forever review on Tom Segura's Your Mom's House podcast. Smith said that he had cried for many horrible reasons all his life, and Black Panther was emotional because of how beautifully Chadwick Boseman's tragic passing away has been woven into the story. Smith then continued to explain how it has become a tradition for him to post pictures of him crying. He even cried at Captain Marvel. He confessed that when he started, he received positive feedback from his audience, but some people were unnerved by it, telling him that he was a grown man and to stop crying. But Smith does it all the time, and it's become so typical that he posted a picture the other day for Wakanda Forever. Someone tweeted, "This has to be a Kevin Smith parody account because this is so on point." It has 30,000 likes, and for 24 hours straight, people were just cutting him up and trolling. Smith said that they were mad that I cried at what they call a kid's movie. Moving on to why Smith posts his crying pictures. Smith revealed why he keeps posting his crying reactions to movies in the same podcast. He said he was a little embarrassed the first time he did it, but a young fan who talked to him at a Comic-Con after his first post made him feel good. The fan also cried during movies. His friends would troll him for it. However, when he showed that Smith also cried during movies, he got trolled less. The director of Tusk would tell himself that if posting the picture can make someone's life easier, then it's worth it, even if many people are calling him out. Smith is known in the film industry for being honest and never hiding his feelings about something. Whether the reaction is positive, as it was for Black Panther, or negative, as it was for Harvey Weinstein not allowing him to stream Dogma, is holding him hostage. The MCU sequel isn't the first time he's shown his emotions to the public.
Going back a month ago, she's dating the dude, she hasn't brought him back to the house. And I'm like, why haven't I met this guy yet? And
he often posts pictures of himself crying while watching a movie. After he died, he recently shared a tearful tribute to the late Batman, the animated series, actor Kevin Conroy. Even though some of his fans didn't like it, Smith's reason for posting his crying reactions to movies is sweet. Moving on, from appearing in small comedies to big superhero movies, Smith might just be the king of cameos. Here are the 7 best Kevin Smith cameos in movies. Starting off with number 7, the pimp in Fanboys. Kevin Smith is known for his love of comic books and all things nerdy, as seen in many of his movies. This love for comics made him the perfect fit for a cameo in the movie Fanboys.
Movie, right? Not to us. We just spoke to the doctor. Screw that doctor! Screw all those people!
The film is about a group of Star Wars fans in 1998 who go on a cross-country trip to steal a copy of The Phantom Menace so that their dying friend can watch it. The plot already has Smith written all over it. Smith liked an early version of the movie so much that he asked to make a cameo appearance, and the film's production accepted his request right away. He made his cameo, showing up with Jason Mewes at a gas station where the main character stopped, where Smith pimped an angry Mewes to the other men for Moving on to number 6, the Stormtrooper Smith. Smith advanced from pimping in a film about Star Wars fans to the big franchise in 2015's Star Wars.
They will stand in our way. I will finish
The Force Awakens. He outdid himself with the love letter that was Fanboys when it came to Star Wars. With the release of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, we got to see the introduction of Smith into the universe. Smith was one of the many characters in the sequel trilogy. In the first movie, he had a small but impressive part. He voiced the First Order Stormtrooper, spouting a warning and telling his fellow Stormtroopers that the Resistance fighters were coming. Even though it's only one line, that's all he says is Silent Bob anyway. On to number 5, Teen Titans podcast host. Smith hasn't just made cameos in live-action movies.
Why do you own a giant toy factory?
It's meaningless to the holiday.
Well, if it's
He's also been in more than a few animated movies. In the DC Animated Movie Universe movie Teen Titans: The Judas Contract. In the Teen Titans movie, where the group of heroes has to deal with one of their own betraying them, Smith makes one of the most interesting cameos. It's one of the darkest DC movies and features one of the saddest animated DC deaths, but that doesn't stop the movie from being funny at more than a few points, especially when you've got Smith in it. Some of the funniest scenes come from the hilariously meta fact that Kevin Smith interviews Beast Boy for for his podcast. They talk about what happens in the movie, and Kevin tries to get Beast Boy to talk about the team, and the conversation was just great to see. Next up at number 4, The Opinion in Superman, Doomsday. Smith also starred in the first DC Universe animated original movie. So Teen Titans wasn't the first time he appeared in an animated DC movie. In the movie Superman Doomsday, Superman died fighting the monster Doomsday, and when he came back, he had to fight a dangerous clone who had taken his place while he was away. Smith makes a brief cameo in a scene in which one of Superman's clones saves the day by defeating a mechanical spider controlled by the villain Toyman. He said that Superman had to fight a mechanical spider, and that's about it. The scene references that he and producer John Peters would put a similar scene in their unmade Superman movie. Moving on to number 3, Jack Kirby in The Daredevil. Smith doesn't just make cameos in DC Comics projects. In 2003, he starred in a Marvel adaptation of Daredevil, and his cameo was full of comic history. Smith not only played a forensic assistant named Jack Kirby in the Daredevil movie, but he also wrote a Daredevil comic series himself. Jack Kirby, of course, was one of the world's most famous comic book artists. He helped design some of the most famous comic book characters, like Daredevil, who is still popular today, specifically his Billy Club. Smith is very clever when it comes to his art, and that's what makes this cameo even more interesting and amusing. Next on the list at number 2, Scream 3. It's safe to say that Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes' appearances as their iconic View Askewniverse characters in Scream 3
With me and with Mother. Maybe you never knew her.
make it the wackiest film from the View Askewniverse. There's no argument that Jay and Silent Bob stand out the most among the many great supporting characters in the Scream movies. The duo was up to their usual wacky shenanigans on the studio lot where the characters visit. When they met her, they even mistook Gale Weathers for real-life reporter Connie Chung. Scream was one of the movies we never thought would be this hilarious and strange until we saw Smith and Mewes on the screen. Lucky for them, though, they both leave the movie before they can meet Ghostface and annoy them to the point that they'd kill him. Now on to probably the best Kevin Smith cameo, Tiny Bratzies in Yoga Hosers. Even though it might be cheating to count a cameo by Kevin Smith in one of his films,
you live on your phones. You have no idea how to function like normal people in the real world.
Miss Wickland.
his appearance in the horror comedy Yoga Hosers had to be on the list because of how utterly bizarre it is. In the movie, his daughter, Harley Quinn Smith, and Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Rose Depp, played two young Canadian yoga fans. The two must clear their names and save their country from forces, including an army of tiny bratwurst men called Bratzies. Smith plays one of the Bratzies in the movie, and he is the one who is responsible for all of their silly and gross deaths. A tiny soldier responsible for silly deaths is something only Smith could pull off. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think that internet trolling will ever stop? What are your thoughts on Smith's reaction posts and his funny cameos? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.